Here we have a SAT math question. Okay, let's go with the information. If 3n negative 8 less than x less than n, which of the following must be true? So the first statement n negative x is less than 0. The second statement n is less than 4. The third statement 2x less than 4 and negative 8. And we have to find which one is true. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do is I'm going to consider the first statement. That is, I'm going to verify the first statement is true or false. That is, n negative x is less than 0 is true or false. For that, I consider the part of the given inequality, that is x less than n. Let me write the stuff over here. Okay, now I subtract n from both sides. When I do so, this positive and negative n are cancelled. I'm getting x negative n less than 0. Actually, I do this to verify the first statement because in the first statement we have the expression n negative x. But here we have x negative n. So if I want to get this n negative x exactly over here, I have to multiply this one by negative 1. So now let's multiply both sides of this inequality by negative 1. Whenever I multiply both sides of an inequality by the same negative number, I have to flip this inequality sign. Okay, first let me multiply the stuff on the left side by negative 1. Then I'm getting negative 1 times x negative 1. So right side also by negative 1, that is negative 1 times 0. So since we have multiplied both sides of this inequality by the same negative number, that is negative 1, we have to flip this inequality, that is already it's less than, it has to be flipped to greater than. Okay, now let's distribute this negative 1 to this x and negative n. Then I'm getting negative x positive n greater than. So negative 1 times 0 is 0. Okay, now we can rewrite this negative x positive n as n negative x greater than 0. So solving this part of the inequality, that is x less than n, we get n negative x greater than 0. But the first statement says n negative x less than 0. So this is false. Okay, here we approve the first statement is false. Now let's verify the second statement, that is n less than 4 is true or false. So for that, I'm going to consider the given inequality as it is, that is 3n negative 8 less than x less than n. Okay, now let's consider a stuff that is a less than c less than b. Okay, by transitive property, if a is less than c and c is less than b, then a must be less than b using transitive property. So we can use the same transitive property over here in our inequality. So in our inequality, 3n negative 8 is less than x and x is less than n. So by transitive property, this 3n negative 8 must be less than this n. So let me write the stuff over here, 3n negative 8 less than n. Okay, now we have to solve for n in this inequality because the second statement is talking about the values of n. Okay, now to solve for n, first I subtract n from both sides. When I do so, this positive and negative n will cancel out. So when I simplify this one, I'm getting 2n negative 8 less than 0. Now I'm adding 8 to both sides. Then we get negative 8 positive 8 will cancel out. I'm getting 2n less than positive 8. Then I divide both sides by 2. This 2 will cancel out. I'm getting n less than 4. Okay, so now I'm getting the result n less than 4. This is exactly we have in statement 2. So statement 2 is correct. Okay, now we have to verify statement 3. Okay, since statement 2 is correct, that is n less than 4 is true, we can consider some value for n so that n less than 4. So we can consider any value for n so that n less than 4. For our convenience, we can take n is equal to 1 because n equals to 1 satisfies this inequality n less than 4. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in n equals to 1 into the given inequality. Then I'm getting 3 times 1 negative 8 less than x less than 1. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 negative 8 less than x less than 1. So the simplification of this one is negative 5 less than x less than 1. Okay, so when I consider a value so that n less than 4, that is n equals to 1, so we get the range of values for x, that is the value of x has to be between negative 5 and 1. Okay, since x takes a value between negative 5 and 1, we can consider any value which meets this criteria. So I think we can take x equals to 0 for our convenience. Okay, now what we need to do is we have to plug in x equals to 0 and n equals to 1 into the third statement, and we have to verify. Okay, let me do it. So we have 2x less than 4n negative 8. Now we can plug in x equals to 0 and n is 1 negative 8. So 2 times 0 is 0 less than 4 negative 8. So which results is 0 less than, when I combine this 4 negative 8, I am getting negative 4. Actually, this is false because we know very well 0 is greater than negative 4, but here we are getting a result 0 less than negative 4. So when I verify the third statement, I am getting a false result, that is 0 less than negative 4. Since I am getting a false result, the third statement is false. Okay, so among the given three statements, only the second statement is correct. So answer choice B says correctly that the only statement two is true. So the correct answer choice for this question is option B, 2 only.